Okay, let's just dive right into this. Welcome back, everyone. Consider this explainer your ultimate survival guide, a literal mission briefing for the Sustainability Enhancement Project in BEX 3113, Engineers in Society. We've got one core objective today, and that's locking down a massive 30% of your final grade. We're talking 20% for your technical report and 10% for the oral presentation. Now, I've got to warn you, the instructions for this are incredibly specific. So if you've been looking for a clear, zero fluff roadmap to hitting that excellent mark, well, you're in exactly the right place. We are going to decode your professor's expectations right here, right now. Here's our exact roadmap for today. We'll start with the mission and that all-important deadline. Then we'll cover the mandatory report formatting rules, followed by essential rules to remember. After that, we'll go over the required project deliverables, and finally, we'll crack the grading rubric. All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the mission and deadline. So, the core of this project, you're taking an existing, previously completed sustainability project, and you're making it significantly better. You need to introduce innovative, technically sound enhancements. But listen, before you can even get graded on all that brilliance, you have to submit it on time. The absolute, non-negotiable hard deadline is week 10. That is Tuesday, 28th July 2026, strictly before 11 p.m. Literally write this down right now. Put it in your phone calendar, set like 3 different alarms. You absolutely do not want 11:01 p.m. to be the reason all your hard work goes down the drain. Now, how exactly right along to Section 2, mandatory report formatting rules? You know, engineering is all about precision, right? Well, your professor expects that same level of precision in your document structure. Seriously, take a screenshot of this right now because these rules are absolutely mandatory. Your font? It has to be Times New Roman, exactly 12 point. Line spacing needs to be 1.5, with exactly 1-inch margins on all 4 sides. Your text alignment must be justified. And here is the big one, your report length. It's got to be a minimum of 10 pages and a strict maximum of 20 pages. If you go under or over that limit, it's really going to hurt your grade, so stick to it. All right, up next, Section 3, Essential Rules to Remember. Look, we all know the university has a zero-tolerance policy, but they are monitoring this specific project heavily. Read this quote carefully with me. Plagiarism and AI content is strictly prohibited and must be below 5%. That means you cannot just copy-paste codes or grab diagrams and analysis from previous reports without proper acknowledgement. And honestly, relying on AI is just going to push you right over that 5% threshold, which leads to massive penalties or even failing the project entirely. Every single improvement you present must be 100% your own original work. So let's say you've got your originality locked down. The big question is, how do you avoid losing points over, well, silly minor formatting details? Honestly, there is nothing more frustrating than pulling off complex scientific analysis only to lose points just because you didn't label a chart the right way. So let's fix that right now so it doesn't happen to you. Okay, here are the exact labeling and citation rules you basically need to hardwire into your brain. First off, it's APA 6th edition for all referencing. For your in-text citations, that means using the author's last name and the year of publication. Please do not use numbered citations. Second, and this trips people up all the time, when you put in a figure, the label goes below the image. But when you add a table, the label goes above the table. Make sense? Lastly, every single one of your section titles must be bolded and in all caps. It sounds nitpicky, I know, but these tiny details are literally what separate a sloppy report from a truly excellent professional one. Okay, let's jump to Section 4, Required Project Deliverables. So we've covered exactly how the report needs to look. Now, let's talk about what actually goes inside. Because this isn't just some standard essay, right? It is a comprehensive engineering document. Your final deliverables have to include an improved proposal, a really thorough literature review, an updated methodology, your actual experimental results, and then the final technical report that ties the whole shebang together. And pay attention to this part. You absolutely must explicitly state the limitations of the previous work and clearly identify what your new technical contributions are. Just making cosmetic changes, that is going to severely reduce your marks. And finally, Section 5, Cracking the Grading Rubric. Understanding this rubric is basically like having the answer key to a test. If you look closely at the 2nd and 5th rows here, you'll see a massive 20% of your report grade comes down to technical writing and language clarity. That means your writing has to be sharp, professional, and grammatically flawless. Then another full 20% is locked into analysis, discussion, and interpretation. So you can't just throw raw data onto the page and call it a day. You actually have to critically analyze that data and professionally communicate what it all means. And honestly, this right here is exactly why we just spent so much time harping on formatting. Check out these remaining categories. Referencing and academic integrity is worth 10%, and professionalism and overall report quality is worth another 10%. To hit that excellent score, your report needs to look like it's ready for actual publication or an industrial presentation. Those incredibly specific rules we talked about, the 1-inch margins, the 1.5 spacing, APA citations, the table labeling, this is exactly where all of that feeds directly into your final score. Now, beyond the written report, don't forget you also have an oral presentation, and that's worth 10% of your total course grade. Let's take a look at the rubric for that one. Notice anything crazy? A staggering 40% of this presentation grade hinges on just two things: technical communication skills at 20% and the Q&A session for the other 20%. So it's not just reading off slides. You need to communicate your technical ideas confidently. And when it comes to the Q&A, your answers have to show genuine critical thinking and a really deep understanding of the enhancements you made. So, that brings us to the ultimate question. You've got the exact blueprint right in front of you. You know that absolute hard deadline is July 28th. You know the strict 10 to 20 page length rules, the exact formatting, Times New Roman 12, 1.5 spacing, and you've seen exactly how this grading rubric works. The knowledge is literally in your hands. So, are you gonna follow these steps to the letter and lock in that excellent score? Or are you gonna let simple, easily avoidable mistakes drag your whole grade down? The choice, and that massive 30% of your final grade, is entirely up to you. Get to work on those enhancements and good luck.